Welcome back everybody to the Full 90 once again for another jam-packed Nations League video. It is match day 6 and I'm going to be bringing you all of my predictions in this video today. I'm super excited. If you are, please do drop a like down below as well as your comments for the Nations League predictions this time round. It's obviously the final round of fixtures in the Nations League, so it's getting exciting. Real quick, massive shout out to all of you because this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, and if you guys don't know who they are, definitely check them out using the link in the description because it is a free football app that has everything you could want when it comes to football, whether that's news, transfer updates. They recently released an article regarding the October goal of the month for the Premier League, which of course, by the way, if you don't think is Manuel Lanzini's goal against Tottenham, then I don't know what else to tell you, but thank you, Lanzini. So if you head over to the app and download it for free, you can like certain teams. Like obviously I support Arsenal, so I follow everything Arsenal related. So as soon as there's a news article regarding Arsenal or any upcoming fixtures, lineups, injury news, transfer rumours, always very exciting, then that comes up straight to my phone. If you want to follow a particular league or competition, such as the Nations League or whatever, then you can do that on OneFootball. So use the link to download OneFootball for free. Massive thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this video and the channel because it really does help support me. So let's get into the match day 6 predictions for the Nations League. Similar to the previous video, I'm not going to do it in the same way I do my Premier League and Champions League videos. I'm going to do a slightly different overlay because there are just so many fixtures to get through. We're going to go through nice and quick and I'll just give you my score prediction for each game, and I'm really excited when these games are finished to have a little look back and see how I got on, because obviously I made Nations League videos a couple of years ago when the first round of the Nations League happened, but we're back now for round 2. So kicking it off, Andorra up against Latvia. I'm going to give this win to Latvia. I just think they are a better team than Andorra and should have the quality to beat them. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win. Now, obviously, all of these fixtures have been played in the Nations League already, the reverse fixture. So there are some stats of head-to-heads between all of these teams in this video. So hopefully we can use that to direct us to the sort of narrative we can expect in these games. But coming up after that, we have France up against Sweden. Now, Sweden, as I've said in the previous video, they're always a little bit hit and miss for me. I never seem to know what kind of Sweden is going to turn up, and although France had a historic loss against Finland recently, I'm going to give France the win here, and I'm going to go for a 2-0. Now, next up, it is Spain up against Germany, two of the giants in international football, of course, and I can't separate the two teams. I think either team could beat the other on their day, so similar to how it was a 1-1 draw last time they played each other, I'm going to go for another 1-1 draw here. Coming up after that, we have Switzerland up against Ukraine. Switzerland and Ukraine both having a little bit of a tough time in the recent international fixtures, mostly because their previous good performances in recent years have left them in a very difficult group with the international powerhouses. So I think both teams are going to be gunning, all guns blazing for a result here, and I think it's actually going to create a high-scoring game, which is not very typical in these competitive international fixtures. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. After that, we have Montenegro up against Cyprus. This should be easy enough for Montenegro. Cyprus are really struggling, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to the home side. After this, we have Malta up against the Faroe Islands. I think this is going to be a really tough one to predict, you know. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Coming up after that, we have Gibraltar against Liechtenstein. Obviously, Liechtenstein, the only team to famously lose against San Marino 1-0 in a friendly, but I'm actually going to back Liechtenstein to win this away from home. I think it's going to be low scoring, almost as if both teams don't have the quality to score or create a goal. It really is that sort of situation. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Liechtenstein. I think they can get it done. Next up after that, we have Luxembourg up against Azerbaijan. I believe Luxembourg recently suffered a shock defeat to Liechtenstein, but I think they'll be able to bounce back and win this game at home against Azerbaijan 2-1. After that, we have Croatia up against Portugal. Portugal, as I said in the previous video, they are very exciting. They excite me as a team. They're always fun to watch, and I'm going to give Portugal the win over Croatia here. Very similar to the World Cup final, actually. Obviously, France beat Croatia 4-1. I predict a similar narrative in this fixture. I'm going to go for a 3-1 away win to Portugal. Now, after that, we have Kazakhstan up against Lithuania. I'm going to keep it low scoring. I'm not going to be able to separate the two teams. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. After that, we have Albania up against Belarus. Now, Belarus, they're a little bit hit and miss. Even if they are the favourites, they sometimes struggle to score goals to actually win games that they should. I think Albania are just going to scrape by in this fixture and claim a 1-0 win. After that, we have North Macedonia up against Armenia. I was very close to tipping North Macedonia to winning this one at home, but something's telling me that Armenia are going to hold firm. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in that fixture. And then the final fixture in the part 1 of the Matchday 6 predictions is Georgia up against Estonia. Georgia, a team I rate quite highly for the level that they're placed at, and Estonia, a team that I've yet to be really that impressed by. So I'm going to go for a convincing Georgia win. I can see Estonia getting a consolation goal, but I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Georgia. Next up, it is Scotland up against Israel. Obviously, Scotland will be massively buoyed by their success against Serbia with the penalty shootout victory. What a night that was for Scotland recently. Scotland obviously are at the top of their group in the Nations League, and I think Israel will prove to be a tricky task for them because Scotland they're often the favourites against Israel when they've played recently, but it seems to be a bit of a bogey team for them in the sense that they just can't seem to get all 3 points. So given that they're already in the Euros next year, I think Scotland will be more than happy to take a point from this game. Obviously, they'll try to win, but I think Israel will be able to cancel them out 1-1. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have an Ireland team who is really lacking in goal-scoring form up against Bulgaria, who are also in poor form, and I think it's finally Ireland's time. Like I said, they've been struggling in front of goal, but I think now's the time they make their mark. I'm going to give them a 2-1 win over the Bulgarians. Now, next up, it is Greece up against Slovenia in what is definitely going to be a tightly contested match. I think both teams are very, very good, but I think that's going to cancel each other out in a way that's not going to be particularly high scoring or entertaining. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. Now after that, Wales up against Finland. Very, very similar fixture. I just can't see Wales and Finland both drawing a blank in the same sense of, Greece and Slovenia, who often have periods of low-scoring games and struggling to score. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Wales and Finland. After that, we have Poland up against the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands are struggling a little bit in their Nations League group. I believe their only win coming against Poland with a 1-0 win in Matchday 1. I think this is going to be quite difficult. Again, Netherlands just aren't quite at the races. Obviously, we've seen Netherlands play some fantastic football. They've got a plethora of talent in the squad. But I do think that Poland, obviously, they have Lewandowski, who is the inform. He's the man. I do think Poland will have enough to get at least a draw from this game. So I'm going to keep it low scoring, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Now, the next game after that, it is Czech Republic up against Slovakia. I think this one will be fairly straightforward for Czech Republic, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win. Slovakia aren't looking terribly confident. They're not looking great, so I'm going to back Czech Republic here. After that, we have Serbia up against Russia. Now, I've said this before, I think Serbia are a really, really good team, and obviously they're going to be disappointed losing out to Scotland in the final of the Euro qualifiers, and I do think that Russia might just be a step too far for the Serbs. So I'm going to go for an away win to Russia. I'm going to go for a 2-1, but I expect this to be a very, very interesting game. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended like 3-3. So I'm going to give the edge to Russia. Next up, it is Hungary up against Turkey. I think this is going to be a close game. I definitely think Turkey are a better side. I think they're better equipped to win a head-to-head between these two teams on any occasion, but I think Hungary have been performing fairly well lately, so I'm going to make it a close game, but ultimately I will give the victory to who I believe the favourite to be in Turkey, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win. The reason I believe the favourite to be is I'm recording this a little bit ahead of the Nations League fixtures, so there's currently no odds as to who's going to win these games, who the favourites are, so I'm going all off my own knowledge and my own intuition, so I think Turkey will be the favourites for me, and I'm going to give them the 1-0 win. Next up, a much more convincing win, I expect anyway. It is England up against Iceland, and similar to how England breezed past Ireland 3-0, I'm going to go for another 3-0 win to England, and I think it should be a fairly comfortable evening for them against Iceland. Next up, it is Kosovo up against Moldova. Moldova, not the greatest team, to be honest. I think Kosovo should have enough to get this win here. I'm not going to say too much more on it. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Now, next up, promises to be a very interesting game. One of my dark horses for Euros next year, Italy, playing away against Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think this is going to be a close game. Bosnia are a decent team, hence why they're in a group with the likes of Italy. But I think the Italians will have just a little bit too much, and I'm going to give them a 2-1 away win. Coming up after that, we have Belgium up against Denmark. I can see this being quite a dull game, all things considered. I think Belgium will just get a comfortable enough win. I could see Lukaku getting a goal, and then maybe some kind of really good intricate goal, Kevin De Bruyne assist, someone else like Tielemans or someone who maybe you wouldn't necessarily put as your top pick to score. Thorgan Hazard, perhaps, if he plays. I could see that happening, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Belgium. After that, we have Austria up against Norway in what promises to be a very, very exciting game. Norway, of course, with Haaland leading the line, are maybe even the team that have scored the most goals in the Nations League. I believe currently at the time of recording they've played 4 games and scored 11. Whilst for a lot of other international teams, it's not uncommon for them to have played the 4 games and scored anywhere from like 3 to 5 goals. Some teams even less. So Norway are a very, very exciting team, but obviously that does leave them open to conceding goals as well. So I'm going to go for a high-scoring 2-2 draw between the two teams here. And in the final game, Northern Ireland up against Romania. I'm going to go for heartbreak in Northern Ireland once again, and I'm going to give Romania a 2-1 away win. So that is going to do it for my Nations League predictions. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like on it. And as I said, comment your Nations League predictions down in the comments below. And if you've got a moment, definitely go and check out the OneFootball app using the link in the description. Obviously, thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. It's a free app, so there's literally no reason why not, because you've watched like 10 minutes into this video. So you must be a football fan, and I know for a fact that OneFootball is the app for you. So massive thank you to all of you for watching, and I will see you in the next video after the international break for more Premier League and Champions League action. So stay safe, and I will catch you in the next video very soon.